Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and I'm back today to share a card using Gerda Steiner's Only for You stamp set. This is a brand new stamp set and perfect for Valentine's Day. It is a smaller stamp set, but if you follow me, I tend to gravitate towards her smaller stamp sets. They always include a large sentiment and images that can be used to create a full scene card. And that's what I'm doing here today. So I saw this set and I really, really liked the kitty that was peeking through the heart. And I kind of imagined a wall of them with two of them peeking through. So the main kitty is going to be sitting on the floor, and I'm going to create a wall right behind him, and that has the two little heart windows. And for this particular image, I am going to reverse stamp this. And for me, I find it easiest to use a piece of acetate and VersaFine ink and stamp it on the acetate, flip it over, and stamp directly onto the paper, and I carefully press it on. And this works really well for me. I know that there are mirror stamp images out there that do the same thing, but I find that this is the cleanest way for me to do it. I do tape down the acetate because the stamp tends to lift the acetate when you stamp on it, and that creates a bolder line. So I always like tape it down and it works out for me. And I also end up tracing it because it's definitely not perfect. It's not a bold image, but I'm okay with this because I do tend to trace over my images regardless, just to make it look more bold after coloring. So me tracing this after the fact of doing the reverse image isn't a big deal, and it just takes some time. I'm super careful with it, and you know what? It's okay if it's not perfect. You really can't tell when the card is done. And so to create that wall behind the main cat, I literally just draw two lines. And I think I've done multiple scene cards where my background is simply a wall, and it works out really well. So, a trick with masking for reverse images, I stick full adhesive post-its against each other, and I'll stamp it, cut it out, and then rip it apart. And it works perfectly. And even though it might not be 100% perfect, it works well enough. So I decided to go ahead and mask off the wall. I want to use Distress inks to create a pink background. And my intention originally was just to use Distress inks to color it up slightly. And I'm using picked raspberries to do this with the Trinity Stamps Blending Buddy, and it's on Nina Solar Crest paper. So it's not my favorite to blend on. I prefer Bristol Smooth, but it works really well with the Blending Buddy, and I usually get a result that I like. And I don't have to put too much effort into it, so I'm not sure if it's the brush. But I think it is because usually when I use a different tool, it doesn't work as well. So for the masking, I decided that I'm going to add a little texture in it. And to do this, I'm using a piece of Eclipse masking paper. I actually stick it on a piece of paper so I have a surface to cut. So I was trying to cut the masking paper with my trimmer and it kept getting stuck. And so this worked out well. And I just peel it off the piece of paper and then adhere it to the card. So as you can see, I'm just doing a diagonal pattern on the background, and I'm going back in with the same picked raspberry color and darkening up some of the stripes. And it ended up being kind of like Victoria's Secret-esque, but I was okay with it. It's totally a Valentine's card. I love pink, and it was going to be pink, and I went with it completely. So once I remove all the masking paper, I go in and just add a little bit more picked raspberry to the lighter portion of it, just to blend it in a little bit more, and I think I really liked how it ended up. At first I was like, this is Victoria's Secret, but you know what? That's okay. So I'm going to go in and color with Copic markers. I'll have all the colors and the combos listed down below. I've been sharing my Copic coloring combos more often because I'm realizing that I gravitate to the same combinations of colors, and that's not a bad thing. And sometimes I do try to step out of the box, but it makes it easier. I don't have the full collection of the Copic markers, and I don't plan to. Even though I had bought additional colors, I find that unless I have a combination in mind, I'm not going to gravitate towards using it. So for the first kitty, I decided to go with warm grays, and I actually wanted to alternate the colors. So the first cat on top will be a gray color, and the second one will be kind of brown, golden, and then again, gray for the main kitty in front. And I do this because I want that cohesiveness with the grays, but then also kind of a different shade. So I went with a darker kitty in the first window, and then the main kitty is a little bit lighter. And of course, the main kitty will be holding a pink heart. And so I'm just coloring, and it's pretty simple coloring. I'm just adding a little shading right behind the paws and right on top of their head. And I think they're super cute. And I really, really love the reverse image. I actually had thought about flipping them. So the top kitty would be at the bottom and the bottom kitty would be on top. But I think that this looks cuter because they're kind of peering in from two different sides as opposed to right next to each other, if that makes sense. But I had seen this image and I really wanted to make them into windows. And lately, I've been really enjoying the scene cards. Usually, interactive cards are my thing, but I'm really appreciating building a scene for stamp images. But you know what? I kind of missed the interactive cards, so I am starting to go back to them. So you might see a few different things. I have an idea for this card as well, and I hope that I have the time to execute it. I think the biggest hurdle in crafting is finding time to do so. I do work full time, and so after work is when I actually craft, and then on the weekends I have like events and things like that. So it makes it really hard. And this year, I'm really striving to use a lot of the stamp sets that I haven't touched at all over the past year. And towards the end of the year, I went on this major shopping spree where I just bought a lot of the things that I've been holding off on. And I kind of have tried to put myself on a no spend, which is incredibly difficult because I just want to buy all the things. And I don't know about you, but it's really hard when new things come out. But if I'm buying them and not using them, it seems kind of pointless, right? So I am also thinking about doing a series of repeating stamp sets in different ways. So, different ways to use a particular stamp set and kind of going outside the box so you get the most out of your stamp set. So, if there are any stamp sets you guys have in mind that you want to see multiple uses for, let me know. And if I already have it, I'll definitely work on creating a video of multiple cards using the same stamp set. So, back to the card. Here, I had originally thought about coloring in a wooden bar for the molding on the floor, but I decided that, if I'm gonna go pink, I'm gonna go pink. So I mask off the little wooden area that's kind of the connector, or I'm not even sure what it's called, the floor thingy, the molding, right, on the floor, which is probably not correct, but yeah, I just can't think of the word right now. And just using Picked Raspberry and going in with a darker worn lipstick just to make it more red. And so, because of the red, I wanted to do the floor as a light color. And at first, I thought about, going back to hardwood floors or anything like that. But I decided, nope, I'm going to mask this off and use spun sugar and make this card completely pink, which I don't mind at all. And I just add a little bit more of the ink at the back because just to give that depth so it looks like he is sitting in a room. So in the stamp set, it comes with the XOXO sentiment, and I just wanted to add that. It just makes it super simple, and it's the only sentiment in this set that I think works with this particular card. So that's what I went for. Once I stamped it, I didn't really like it, so I went ahead and heat embossed it on black, and I used white embossing powder, and it totally stands out so much more. So I also go in with a white gel pen just to draw lines for the stripes, just to break it up a little bit. And I think that that little touch kind of adds to it because it's not too like perfect, right? Because cut out all those masking stripes exactly, and I thought it looked a little too perfect. So going in with that white gel pen really puts together the card. So that's it for my card. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.